Chodan Soki Chodam La, Chanchu Paru Dagni Kapsuchin, Dagi Junyan Gipe Sonandi, Chola Penchu Sangye Drupai Chodan Soki Chodam La, Chanchu Paru Dagni Kapsuchin, Dagi Junyan Gipe Sonandi, Chola Penchu Sangye Drupai Chodan Soki Chodam La, Chanchu Paru Dagni Kapsuchin, Dagi Junyan Gipe Sonandi, Chola Penchu Sangye Drupai
Hot? Very hot. Really? If you're hot, you can turn on the AC.
That's good.
That's okay.
If you feel hard, you don't sit here. In the spotlight and no window.
Yeah, that is your suffering.
This guy said no say.
Suffering of translating.
Because of the light, because of the words.
I think you should switch it off. I think you'll see it.
It's not for you.
Maybe it's for him.
Okay, anyway, everybody set up perfect motivation. Yeah. We benefit for sentient beings. We need to help or, benefit our sentient beings, but we don't have enough power. Therefore, when we achieve enlightenment, then we have power. Therefore, motivation benefits all sentient beings. Therefore, our study or lesson or practice, whatever when we do virtually anyway, always set up the Mahayana Bodhisattva motivation very important. Then today, now we start to, which one? Which level? Today we have to Mahayana path. We finish. Soul transition? Then we realize. Solitary relaxation, then other one? We done both. I hope everybody don't forget. Remember. But sometimes forget that we can remind again and again. Anyway, also some practice, people first go to, what call it, heroes, then solitary, then go to Mahayana. Or some go to heroes, then go to Mahayana. Some but doesn't go, they just enter to the Mahayana part. Then the Mahayana, Hinayana is difference. What difference? It's motivation to achieve renunciation. The renunciation is contact with bodhicitta and compassion. This kind of person achieve Mahayana path. Conjoined. And if this renunciation is not conjoined bodhicitta and compassion, that kind of person achieve the renunciation, but it is not Mahayana path, it is the Hinayana path. But there can person achieve a path. Right? Achieve the path, right? Achieve a path.
Enter into.
Enter the path. Enter the path. Anyway, when he or she enter the path, this path is when the person achieve the general path. When general path, this person, what call it? Enter the path. But there are many different ways, conjoined compassion, bodhicitta, they will call, Mahayana or bodhicitta or Bodhisattva. And a great person. This kind of person also. The capable. Great capable. What is it called? Great scopes, okay? When this kind of person enter the path, conjoin the bodhicitta, compassion, this was a great scope and Mahayana path. This is what driven is motivation. The motivation I achieve or I wish to benefit or friendship is there I have to into the path. This motivation, they walk actively when they enter the path, then they come to Mahayana. You say, okay, just by myself to free from samsara, then walk very hard. When they enter the path, this is Hinayana, not Mahayana. Also, this is the middle scope. Small scope, middle scope, great scope, right? It's middle scope. Therefore, now today we have to study Mahayana. Also, this kind of person, before enter the path, some practitioners really, I would say, understand emptiness. Some, not some, yes. There are many differences. Okay, anyway, now today, what's all that? First number?
Page 20 of our text.
Also, don't forget, Hinayana paths, how many paths, what is the difference, how they enter the path. It's more important, don't forget. If you forget one, then always forget it easy. When, we go to some holy teaching, teachings and they say, oh, this kind of path, Mahayana path, Hinayana path, that is, oh yeah, we call this path. This is Hinayana path, this is Mahayana path, this is also Arhats. This is not Arhats, we have to remember all the things. Then when you enter the Mahayana path, also that kind of person as bodhicitta. We call this bodhicitta is lookless ground bodhicitta. Bodhicitta ground. Why we call that kind of bodhicitta ground? Because ground is, all the, vegetarians, trees, beans, what do you call that? Rice, all the, trees, they, what do you
Roots.
call it? Root of. Geshe-la
It grows from the ground.
growth from the ground, right? All the grass, all the trees, all the vegetables, then whoever grow up that grass, they all come from earth, sun, ground. Therefore, in the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, above that, the first level bodhicitta, all the knowledges, good qualities come from the small first bodhicitta. Therefore we call subtle emptiness. That's ground.
Bodhicitta-like ground.
Bodhicitta ground. Okay? Now I finish. 다 니바스 대신에 세나도 샤발라스 테니 예와 호서 처버지 주 믿어도 나서도 왔어.
So we're talking about the Mahayana ground now, right? So again, there's the same division as the other ones, right? So we're talking about the explanation of Mahayana ground. There's 5 parts: definition, division, method of moving from ground to ground, as a distinguishing feature, and the meaning of the words.
단 전이 가려. 내가 예와 가려. 난 벌써 산에서 가려 파악을 했어. 난 저걸 제주도 가려 그랬어. 근데 다 러시아도 이대로 가려서 들어왔어.
So definition, what is the definition of the Mahayana ground and the method of moving from ground to ground, the way they move, what is the way of moving from or transferring from the ground to ground, and distinguishing the feature, meaning of the words.
다 담보라는 저 뒤에 되는 시대
Sun is not what you know.
산에 산다서. 아니 저번에 주도나다 제주도 가려 그랬어. 아니 미국도 러시아도.
So the distinguishing feature is the special quality.
다른 건 저 뒤에 되는 시대 대신 남주 지금 같은 데 대신 산이죠.
So that we can read it, the definition of the Mahayana ground. A clear realization of one who has entered the path of Mahayana, which serves as the basis for the many qualities which are its effect.
다 대전제 사다 대전제 람이 다 되주라고 다 네가서 저당이야 지금 아까 저 대전제 사다 대전 람 치발에 되주래서
So Mahayana ground and Mahayana path are synonymous. Okay.
다 대라나 샤던제 사다 사지사 이유서
And so the Mahayana ground is divided into 2, right? This is divided the Bodhisattva ground and Buddha ground. Bodhisattva grounds and Buddha grounds.
샤전거 sen 예바 있는 셈체 있나 제가 샤전 사바스 아니 샤전거 셈 얘기가 셈체만 들어다 상계세
So someone who has a bodhicitta, yet is a sentient being, is called Bodhisattva. And someone who has a Buddha, someone who has a bodhicitta and is a Buddha, if it's enlightened being, then it's called Buddha.
데이터 샤선이 샤선이 사다 사지사 이세 거들 들어
And so that's why it's called 2, Bodhisattva grounds and Buddha grounds.
내가 사지 파바도 샤전 선발이요 나야 나도 말하려고 했어
So the Buddha, Buddha is not a Bodhisattva, right? So therefore the higher Buddha, the superior Buddha is also not a Bodhisattva.
샤전 선발해야 돼 샤전 선행의 선전들은 샤전 선발
So the Bodhisattva has to be a sentient being who possesses the bodhicitta.
가시나 대마이나 샤전 사지나 샤전 선발은 내가 그 샤전 선발 사다 사지도 가셔서 시험을 해서 저러고
So that's the reason why the division of the grounds of the Bodhisattvas and the grounds of Buddha.
다 대라 다 라면 제가 되게 되면 이제 샹생진가도 샹생지 사이트 다 샹생지 사이트네 그래서
And so now read the definition of the Bodhisattva ground. A clear realization of the Bodhisattva
which serves as the basis of that which is similar to it, i.e. the many good qualities which are its effects.
다 샹생지 사 대라이나 다 샹생지 소시에다 샹 법안이 그래서
And then there are two divisions, right? So they are divided into what? The grounds of ordinary and the Bodhisattva superior, right?
다 된지 샹생 소식으로 나랑은 좀 되게 싶어요. 아니 샹생 소식으로도 샹생 소식이 있다. 그래서
And then the definition of the ordinary being, the Bodhisattva ordinary being is what?
다들도 다 믿으라니 다들아 샹생 다 샹생지 송화도 주로니 샹생 소식다더라 다 샹생 송화도 주로니 그래서
So it's very similar to the earlier ones, right? And so how many divisions are there? Bodhisattva ordinary? How many divisions are there for the Bodhisattva ordinary beings? Two, right? What are they?
다 샹생지 충분해도 샹생 송화도 되니까
And so then there's a definition of Bodhisattva and a path of accumulation is what?
Clear realization of doctrine of Bodhisattva.
A clear realization of the doctrine of Bodhisattva, right?
다 총화사야 돼 간제 상제 토발라 초 쏘시면 내가 그런다 총화사야 다 다시 볼 때는 이어서
So it's called a path of accumulation because you accumulate path, and then it's a path where you accumulate merit in order to gain enlightenment. So that's why it's called the path of accumulation.
다 되라있나 샹생 충지 친구상 샹생 총화 주문지 친구 섬세 다야고 들어 손하더라
Then when it's divided, there are three, right? Small, middling, and great.
와다들이 되게 충화돼 강사들이 샹생 총화 주문 남부터 봐나 강사들 샹생 세바쳐 봐 아니 대화치도 남시 강사 다 잡고 들어
So the first time when you become Bodhisattva, that's the small Bodhisattva, called bodhicitta. So you enter into the Mahayana path. The moment you enter into the Mahayana path, and you become the Mahayanist, and you become the small, the Mahayana path of accumulation.
근데 다 좋아져야 들어 다 샹생 총화 주문이나 아니 코다 라마 토마시고 강사 입이 잡다 맞췄어요 라마
So if it is a Bodhisattva on the small path of accumulation, is it necessary for him to be entering the path for the first time?
Is it not necessary?
Is it necessary for him, if he is a Bodhisattva on the small path of accumulation, is it necessary for him to be entering the Mahayana path for the first time? For the is it necessary for him to enter into the path for the first time?
Okay.
No?
If he's already a Bodhisattva.
Yeah, if he's a Bodhisattva on the small path of accumulation.
담보 들어
No? Not necessary?
It's small. It is very technical.
Not necessary.
가서 샹생 총화라 줄처럼 잡아 최고 중앙적인 선과 중앙에다 담보 들어
So when you enter into the Mahayana path for the first time, the first level you achieve is what? Small, right? And then as you go through, then you have the middling, then you achieve the great, and then after that, then you move to the second path, right? So the first one is the path of small path of accumulation. So that's when you enter into the Mahayana path for the first time. So it is a path of accumulation, right? So if you are a person or Bodhisattva who is on a small path of accumulation, is it necessary for you to be entering into a path for the first time? So that's the trick question. You understand that? So enter into the path and enter into the Mahayana path. So that's two different things, right?
So if it's Mahayana path, then yes.
Yes. If it's path, then it's not. For example,
Oh, good.
for
Anybody say
example,
yes, no?
They may
That's
have,
the no?
right,
They may have
they may have
Because the
gone
path, there are others also.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So they have gone through other paths, right?
Right.
Hero's path or Sotra's path. That is not the first time they're entering into the path, but they are first time entering into the Mahayana path.
Good, good.
So it's not technical, it's specific.
Yeah, this is really.
You guys are tricksters.
I just have a question because I forget again where you can backslide. So if you've entered the small path of accumulation, of the Mahayana, small Mahayana path of accumulation, is it possible to lose your realization of renunciation and fall backwards off of the path? Or to lose the effortless bodhicitta and fall off the path? Or once you're there, you're on the path and only going to move forward?
Yeah, they have chance to lose the bodhicitta, not on renunciation.
Okay, so you can, but then you wouldn't be on the path anymore. You wouldn't be on the
They're
Mahayana
path.
path.
Yeah, they're not in Mahayana path. Because this kind of person, Hinayana, they really achieve Hinayana, not judgment to Kurukulla. And that they tell you give you train it as you say. Give it that's you, Calico showing that. You Charlie, you, that's how you say, my brown, Tamara, only no see you. The Kurukulla is Shanju said, Yam's mother, the Tamara.
That's what the Loma.
그래서 대멸 대멸 남수지 도방에서 저거 한 마시고 막 통에도 막 통에도 그러다 막 뭐를
영화였어. 이거는
양에도
년도 가서 대멸 가서 대멸 다지 못서 가서 도마.
되고 저쪽도 고 양에도 같이 도방 넣고
어?
도방 넣고
대멸 남죠.
그래서 도방 넣는 거 나와요. 그러나 도방 내도도 그냥 따보면 되면 건데요. 그 건데와다 다 이게 남데 건데 다 도와주면 밑에 가지고 닦고 주고 내야니.
그래서 말이에요. 제가
그때
내가 샤리부들이 어디요? 대나무는 대프랑 대면 안 마셔야 되는 어디요?
시즌은 다 나한테 남다고 나 저거도 좀 봤어. 시즌에 막 양면이 가지나 다 되는 것도 보면 샤리.
So
양면이 가려서나 간나 그 되면 건데요. 다 대중에 남도 그 이제 다 배도 넣어줘다 다 그대로 맞는 거 그래서.
So yes, it is possible, to fall back. It is possible to lose bodhicitta, even if you have achieved the Mahayana accumulation. In the small ones, yes, you can lose the bodhicitta and then fall back into the Hinayana path. But you will not lose renunciation. You still will have renunciation. The one reason you lose bodhicitta is because you feel like hopeless. You will be so discouraged, and you will not feel like think, and you will not be able to think that there's a way you can achieve enlightenment for the benefit of also. And then there's no point, no way to do that. So I better just seek for my own happiness, and then that's when you fall back into the Hinayana path. So it's not necessary, but normally it is those who have been into the Hinayana path. So then they after either completing the Hinayana path or even before completing the Hinayana path, they enter into the Mahayana path, and then they find it very difficult in the Mahayana path, and then because they are used to the Hinayana path, so they have this tendency to fall back into that path, and so they give up that and then they fall back into the Hinayana path. But I don't think it's necessary to be someone who have gone through the Hinayana path for you to be that kind of bodhisattva who falls back. Even if you have entered the Mahayana path straight from the beginning, it still is possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have some?
How do the three paths of accumulation, the small, middling, and great, fit with the Buddhi? Like the first Buddhi is, what's that? How does that relate to the path of accumulation?
Do you have this? Any sense?
So where are the Buddhis here?
Starting on the path
Like
of seeing.
Small, medium, direct.
Okay, so it starts on the path of seeing, first ground.
But bhumi just means ground in a sense. It could be you have the bhumi of the other tools also. So bhumi is just a common word.
Yeah. Is that what you mean? Pillars?
I just wanted to know the terminology, and when we're on the path of accumulation, what does small mean? What is
Small.
Small
what-
letter.
사다란 게 사지나 사드라다 사토사라 사다란 게 이거죠 사지 사토사라 이런 가서 되게 사주죠 사드토야
대도
데이터보다
많은 또
톤이다
대사 말했어.
so that when you talk about the bhumi like Bikram said the ground is the bhumi means the ground so when you're in a Mahayana ground you're in a Mahayana path also right so when you're in a Mahayana ground you're in a Mahayana path when you're in a Mahayana path you're in a Mahayana ground so on the path of
That's
accumulation
not to the path of seeing.
No. We're just talking about the ground, the bhumi of the path and ground. When we talk about the path and ground, the ground of the path of ground, ground of the path and ground, ground of the path and ground, and the ground of the 10 ground is different.
Oh.
Okay. So when we're talking
That's
about the
right.
bhumi, you can talk about the bhumi of the path and bhumi, or the bhumi of the 10 bhumis. So which one you're talking about?
I see.
So if you say bhumi, like Bikram said, so you are in a Mahayana bhumi, then when you're in a Mahayana path, you're in a Mahayana bhumi already. But then when you talk about the bhumi, of that 10 bhumis we're talking about,
Starts with
then
the
that
path of
only
seeing.
starts from the path of
Path of
seeing.
seeing, right.
Yeah.
So on the path of accumulation, the small, are we going to go into details of what that means to be a whole thing?
예.
Thank you.
나도가 인간라야. 세상 상생의 상생의 사단 상생을 대주해서. 아 상생의 사단을 이제 사단 상생을 대주해서. 이게 뭐라 그래?
그랬어.
세상 상생의 사단 상생을 대주해서. 아 상생의 사만이 되시고 사단 상생을 대주해서.
사람이 장생비 사단 장생을
대주해서.
사람이 지어 사단합니다.
상생의 사람 이제 사단을 대주해서. 그러나 이 라면은 다 살고 이 사단은 다 살고 사만이 되셔서 살이
사람이 지어 사단 라면 되죠.
시즌대로 한디 상승을야 시당 딸이 상승 사단 상승을 대주 있어.
야, 한번 통과하고 사람이 지어 사단 라면 되죠.
야, 당분간 되면 나한테 당분 남시한테 되지.
지단 사람이 지어 사단 라면 되죠.
되지. 다들 상주에서 말하면 상승의 사단 상승의 라면 되지 있어. 다 상주에서 사람이 지금 사단 상승의 라면 되지 말이야. 다 되지 사대나 다 이게 또 사실. 그때 빨리 놓고 다들라고 되시게.
다들 남자들 있는데 다다가 사람이 지어 사단 장생비 사람이 사단 라면 되죠 많이. 장사
상승의 사단 상승을 되지 가능하고
지단 사람이 사단 라면 되죠.
되지 거지. 다 상주에서 사단함이 되지 거지. 다 상주에서 사단이 되지 사단함이 되지 말이야.
사람이 지어 사단 라면 되죠. 이게 뭐 바로
대로 뭐 가르나 어디 가서
단단 가지고 내 사단 못 사냐고
대가
사람이 지어 사단
예, 사람이
지어 사단 장생비 사단 장생비 사단 라면 되죠 많이.
내라도 상승을 하나 내가 한테 가서 대신 소실하다 나왔어. 그냥 거기를 이 감각 남치는 거.
근데
대로는 다시 나타나는 거니까.
장생비 사람이 지어 사단 바로 촬영을 말해.
상승 그 사만이 지금 사단함이 되지 말이야. 다 가르잖아. 가서 아무도 대나 못하는 거 그러지. 다 같이 맞이 상승도 초랑 준비체는 다 당보 통에다가 주문했어. 근데 통에다 지금 이만 가서 나오고 있는 있어. 근데 지금 저 마법을 해야 되나 하는 친구세. 다 대주주는 좀
So anyway, there could be a different way, but this is what Geshe-la thinks is like. When you talk about the Bodhisattva ground and Bodhisattva path, they are same. Bodhisattva ground and Bodhisattva path. And Bodhisattva ground and Bodhisattva path are same. Synonymous, not same, but synonymous, carries the same meaning. Bodhisattva ground and Bodhisattva path are synonymous, but Bodhisattva ground, the Bodhisattva ground of the ground and path, the ground and the ground of the Bodhisattva path and ground are not same. Okay, the ground and of the ground and path, the ground the ground, that's ground and path. Ground of the ground and path, and path. Understand? Ground of the ground and path. Ground of the ground and path of the Bodhisattva is not similar, not synonymous with the Bodhisattva path. So because we're talking about the Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva ground of the ground and path, is referring to the Bodhisattva movies. That's starting from the path of seeing. So that's why that ground and the Bodhisattva path are not synonymous. The Bodhisattva path starts from path of accumulation, whereas the Bodhisattva ground of the path and ground starts only from the path of seeing. Therefore, anyway, this is a different way of saying. But anyway, so the path of accumulation, there is a small, middling, and great. The small is the first one that you achieve. The first time when you achieve is the small one, and then after being on that path for a couple of days, couple of months, or a year, then it's called the middling. And then then when you are towards the completion of the path of accumulation, that's the great, towards the completion. So when you have completed that, then you move up to the path of preparation. So just before that is called the great.
Okay. Yeah.
So the small, you just said small, medium, and great. There is no different sort of realizations which one say understanding and then understanding more. There's nothing like that.
똑배샤는 경우가 말했어요.
도배는 연대적 경우.
도반 도명이 전에 개발 말했어요.
도반 두명 제가 얘기했어. 그러나 아무도 똑같아. 저 연대 중앙. 그래서 저한테 연대 대리치야. 취하는 연대 대리치야. 야, 누구다 그거 되냐?
알았습니다. 연대 가래.
더 커서, 그러나 소남 집에 지다 생기게 전 냐야 그랬어. 세다고 저랬어. 야, 총아 집에 가서 아니 하나 데려야 가지. 대형 사세다로 간제 맞지. 야, 얘대반 내게 생각도 도도셨네. 간제입니다. 그럼 고모고마한테 지금
Yes, there is a difference in terms of the realizations, in terms of the knowledge. So the person who is on the middling path has higher knowledge. The bodhisattva, bodhicitta will not degenerate. And the first one, that is in the bodhicitta, is not that strong, even though it is effortless, but it's not that strong. You may still degenerate, you may still lose it. But when you're in middling, then you never lose. From there on, you just keep on carrying on it, and so forth. So there are differences in terms of realization like that.
다 쎄도 지발이 쎄도 왜나? 아니 쎄 그런 뭐 그런 거 같이 잘라 내가 가르쳐주지 못한 쎄 그런 쎄 뭐만 줘야 말고 왔어. 근데 저도 정말 되려면 다 지금 야 맥거지랬어.
So then, so that bodhicitta, the bodhicitta in the middling part of accumulation is called bodhicitta, like a gold. So the gold, no matter what you do, you rub it or cut it, whatever you do, it always remains gold. It never becomes non-gold. So that's just like that. The bodhicitta always remains there and it never changes.
뭐든지 다 그냥 상품 손을 매질러 놔도 지나 스신이 짠이요. 스신이 짠이 사실.
자선 선언들을
정말로 다 숨겨. 시전에 스신 얘기는 손하고 숨겨.
So there's this illustration of the bodhicitta, like the bodhicitta like a ground, bodhicitta like gold, bodhicitta like a treasure, and so forth. So bodhicitta like a king, and so forth. So all these, there are 22 bodhicittas like that in terms of the illustration. And so there are 3 are in the path of accumulation.
Who study study topic? They really learn the book. That's why they ask us about the other dojaran ichon no jakob na no mas jobak bachin rani chota rani chota tate kan tawa jumdori.
So the root text from the ornament of pure realization.
forget. But the day they 다 가지 마지 다 당기 조조 가지 대화지 뭐 통화 담으시면 가봐라. 근데 라마 토마시를 가가면 마셔봐서 다 마인드 쳤잖아. 다 이면 마셔봐서 다 마인드 쳤잖아.
So now earlier you said if it is bodhisattva on the first path of accumulation, which is the small path of accumulation, is it necessary to be a person entering into the path for the first time? Then you say it's not necessary, right? Then is it not necessary to be a person who is not entering into the path for the first time? Is it not necessary? So you said it's not. When I say is it necessary, then you say no, right? Now is it not necessary? Is it not necessary?
Is it necessary not to be a person?
Is it necessary not to be a? That's that.
라마 토마 주기 때다 많이 배쳤다. 이면 마셔봐라. 토마면 다 많이 배쳤다. 가라.
Is it necessary to be not entering the path? Is it necessary
Yeah.
to be not entering the path for the first time?
Is it necessary to be not?
Yeah. Is it necessary to be not entering the first for the first time?
For the Mahayana path or the path?
저
The
파.
path.
We already answered that.
No, it's no.
The answer different
It's
question.
a different question.
Opposite.
Which is not necessary.
Is it if a person is entering?
So yeah, it's not necessary.
많이 배쳤다. 근데 이미
If it is a bodhisattva on the small path of accumulation, is it necessary for that person to be not entering into the path for the first time?
yeah, that's not answer there.
It's not necessary.
It's not
If they could go directly
Momanis.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. 어떻게 다 담보니 되는 게 왜 상품 정화했다? 저는 말이죠. Everybody.
So is it necessary for that person to be not entering into the path for the first time?
Stop is the first
What did you
part of
say?
the sentence.
I said no because I thought they could go
Yeah.
directly to that.
Yeah.
Mahayana path. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Okay.
You don't need to go into the first or the second day here, so you realize it. You can enter the Mahayana path directly.
Yeah.
Because that's the answer.
That's the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
But there's
I don't
a
answer
different
the
way.
question, but that's the answer.
You guys understand the difference? You
Yeah,
guys understand difference?
it's the double negatives.
So you have to understand the question also. You don't just understand the answer.
Everybody understand, right? No confused. They're different, okay?
Yeah, the answer.
Question.
The first question was, is it necessary to be entering for the first time? And we said no. And so he said, oh, okay, well then if it's not necessary, is it necessary that you're entering for not the first time? And we also said no, because you can be either.
Okay?
Another do.
Not confused, right?
Yeah,
Not confused, right? Third question, okay? No, it's okay. 다 다른 것도 샤스 소시라고 외웠어. 샤스 소시. 정수하면 샤스 소시를 봐. 다 이 샤스 소시나 소시에 몇 잡스나?
So now we're talking about the bodhisattva on the path of accumulation and path of preparation, right? They are what? They are ordinary bodhisattvas, right? So if it is ordinary bodhisattva, is it necessary to be ordinary?
It's an ordinary bodhisattva.
Huh?
Is it necessary to be ordinary?
Yeah. If it is an ordinary bodhisattva, so bodhisattva on the path of accumulation and path of preparation are ordinary bodhisattva, right?
That's what the book says.
Yes. So if it is ordinary bodhisattva, is it necessary to be ordinary?
Is it necessary to be ordinary?
Is it necessary to be ordinary?
Versus what?
Everybody understood the question.
Ordinary what?
Ordinary being. Ordinary being.
Yeah, ordinary
Ordinary
bodhisattva.
being.
Yeah.
Like ordinary.
Is it ordinary? An ordinary being, ordinary path?
ordinary bodhisattva.
If it is an ordinary bodhisattva, is it necessary to be ordinary?
Ordinary person.
No.
No? Okay, you. No, nobody says. Only because.
Okay.
Because in the previous two paths, there's also ordinary and superior. You can be superior of that.
Which previous path?
Whatever the hearer and solitary was that. That's right. Very simple.
Now you understood the question.
good. Yeah, that's good. You know, remember we teach people already. That's keep mind. It's very good. Right? But not telling them to shashu sujila, of course.
So that's not ordinary.
What's not ordinary?
That that the example that you gave, the previous path. The old who went in the previous path and then. So that's not ordinary bodhisattva? That's not ordinary?
What is not ordinary?
So whatever example that you gave.
Yes.
Yeah, you are example.
Yes.
You said you gave an example,
No,
right?
they are not
You
ordinary.
said if
They
it's
are not
ordinary,
ordinary people. They are not ordinary people because they've got bodhicitta. You know, like in the sense they just don't think about themselves. They think about it. That's what's not ordinary.
No possession. This is not possession.
come on, you did very good before.
No, this is not possession.
Renunciation. 23, 103, right?
No. This is not.
So you said someone who went through the previous path. So you meant heroes and Sota's path, right?
Right.
So that's what I understood. But
Right.
you just said previous path, so it could be
Yeah,
anything.
that's what I meant.
So those who went through through either a hero or Sota's path, and then completing that path, then you enter into the Mahayana path.
Right.
So you are in the Mahayana path of accumulation there at that time, and you are ordinary bodhisattva, but you are not ordinary being, right?
Yes.
So why are you not ordinary being? That's the question.
Because you already.
You've got it. That's what I told you.
Huh?
That was my last
You
answer.
exempted a pot.
That was my last answer.
No, so that's why, and that's the question is why is that not ordinary bodhisattva or ordinary being?
Because you ventured a pot.
Because
It's ordinary being because it's ordinary bodhisattva.
Yeah. Okay, come on.
But bodhisattva itself, all right?
It's an ordinary being because it's ordinary bodhisattva.
No.
Bodhisattva by itself is a higher human
No,
being.
Mare.
It's how but
No, I mean of course in bodhisattva also there are different level of bodhisattva, right?
Right.
So the lower level is called the ordinary bodhisattva, and higher level are called the superior bodhisattva.
Right?
So so the bodhisattva who are in the low level.
Yes.
So let's say that's an ordinary bodhisattva.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
So that bodhisattva is an ordinary being, right?
He is ordinary bodhisattva.
But not ordinary being.
How do you, when you say being, how do you define being? In order to answer this question, you have to tell me what you mean by being.
An ordinary being is
Person.
one who has had a direct realization of emptiness, is the way they describe being. Ordinary and superior and Arya.
So say that again.
An ordinary being is a being who hasn't had direct realization of emptiness, and an Arya being or a superior being is one who has had a direct realization of emptiness.
Yeah, so that's the answer.
But so if you are, the question is if you're pratyeka arhat, a solitary realizer arhat, and you've realized emptiness on the pratyeka Buddha path, and now you're an ordinary bodhisattva, how are those two things consonant? How are you an ordinary bodhisattva on the ordinary path of bodhisattva who's already realized emptiness as a pratyeka Buddha? So what are you, superior or ordinary or both?
One of the questions is, it also depends on how you enter. Like in the sense, it also depends if you can enter from right from the beginning, from like you go through all the 3 steps, like normal, okay? Or you can jump in any which way you want to jump. It depends on the individual, right? So it all depends on the individual. So if a person has jumped straight onto the Mahayana path, or that's straight, all right, then that person has not gone through anything else, right? He's just gone. He's done what he's done. He's entering there.
Yeah.
It's like entering a classroom.
Yeah.
In the college, okay, in the college, the classroom is Mahayana. The name of the classroom is Mahayana. All right, then you're right here on this page, okay? But if the name of the classroom is not Mahayana, it's like something else, then you're on that page. That's how it is.
So what was your question? What was your answer?
So the answer is like, if you're saying
we don't get
So
to
that's why we have the
answer.
word necessary or not necessary, right? If it's necessary, then it has to be all kinds of bodhisattva has to be ordinary being or not ordinary being, right? If it's necessary. If it's not necessary, then there should be some excuses, right? Some can be ordinary, some can be not ordinary being. That's why it says when it says necessary or not, that's the word, necessary or not. If it's necessary, then everybody who is bodhisattva who is the ordinary bodhisattva has to be ordinary being. If it's not necessary, then all the bodhisattva and all the ordinary bodhisattva is not necessary. Means there could be some bodhisattva who are not ordinary beings.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
But they're merely ordinary on that path, though, right?
Sorry.
Aren't they still merely ordinary on that particular path of accumulation?
So the Mahayana ordinary.
The Mahayana.
Ordinary, yes.
But
But,
You got something?
my problem is that the realization of emptiness is the same, we were talking about before, as for a Mahayana practitioner and a Hinayana practitioner.
yes.
So if you are a Pratyeka Buddha Arhat,
Can
So
you
you-
say that in English and not say that in Sanskrit? Because
a solitary realizer Arhat, and you have realized, so
So
you
you said
realize
aha, that's the Sanskrit.
if you are the Tibetan, the solitary realizer foe destroyer,
For this.
if you're a solitary
I'm just
realizer
kidding.
Arhat and you realize emptiness directly, the emptiness you realized is the same as the emptiness you will realize on the Mahayana path. So if you are a solitary realizer on the ordinary path of accumulation of a bodhisattva, on the ordinary bodhisattva path, how has your previous realization of emptiness not carried over? How, I mean,
Yeah, it is carried over.
Yeah, it's
so you,
It
so
has
then
carried
you're,
over.
but so you're on
So
the,
that means
so your ordinary
you
path.
that the ordinary path of bodhisattva, not just ordinary path.
So
Not
you're
regular.
on the ordinary path of bodhisattva.
Yes. So that's why ordinary path of bodhisattva is not necessarily ordinary path.
But you are not an ordinary being on the ordinary path.
No, you are ordinary bodhisattva. So you're ordinary being on the
You're an
Mahayana
ordinary
path.
bodhisattva
Yeah, you're ordinary bodhisattva, but
Who
you're not
is,
ordinary.
partake of solitary realization.
Who has the previous realization,
Previous realization.
preceding realization of
Preceding.
the Parteka Buddha or solitary realizers.
Okay.
Do you got it?
Yeah.
Now what you got?
That it's possible to be that.
No, got that? Could say Shadowman.
No, here the Mahayana path, and the Mahayana path is not just the realization of emptiness, right? So it's
Yeah,
also being, in that path,
Mm-hmm,
the bodhicitta.
I just question one. What confuses me is how your preceding realization of emptiness doesn't automatically make you maintain the status of a superior being on an ordinary path, on the ordinary bodhisattva path, but you're a superior being on an ordinary bodhisattva path, but you're still designated as...
So I think you're talking about the level of realization of emptiness, right?
And so that's what you're saying is it's not the same.
The level of
realization.
realization of emptiness is the same,
Yeah.
right? So realizing emptiness directly, realizing emptiness. But as you go higher on the path, your level of realization becomes higher or deeper, right? More profound.
Okay.
So is there any difference between bodhicitta in the continuum of bodhisattva on the path of accumulation and bodhicitta in the continuum of bodhisattva on the path of accumulation?
You just said here.
Huh?
That's what they were saying, 70 points, the different kinds of bodhicitta. So there is a difference.
So there's a difference. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah,
so
so
is there a difference or not?
So it's not a difference in it's not a difference in type, it's a difference in quality.
Quality, yes. So realization in terms of the level of realization. So just like that. So that's why the emptiness, realization of emptiness, even though it is directly realizing emptiness, but the direct realization of emptiness in the part of seeing and direct realization part of emptiness in the part of meditation has to be different, right? Because they work as an opponent for a different level of delusions.
I see.
Okay, everybody confused? Highly explained before all the killing. 다 간지 맞지. 인디 법에 또방에서 소리 샹스 종합바디 샹스 소시에 말해서 달라고.
So, anyway, so we already said that, right? So, Bodhisattva who have gone through the heroes or social realizers path and enter into the Mahayana path. So, the Bodhisattva on the path of accumulation, Mahayana path of accumulation, who went, through either social realizer or heroes path and then enter into the Mahayana path. That Bodhisattva on that path of accumulation is an ordinary Bodhisattva, but not ordinary. Okay?
다 그래. 샹스 소시에 샹스 다 조마조마 거리 임시구나. 다들 저를 해서 샹스 소시에 있대.
Yes. So it is ordinary Bodhisattva, right? He is the ordinary Bodhisattva. Why?
Because
On the path of accumulation.
okay, good.
That's right. Because he is either on the path of accumulation or path of preparation. If he is if he or she is on the path of accumulation or path of preparation, then it's necessary to be an ordinary bodhisattva.
그래? 다 소시 많이 봐봐야 돼.
So it's not ordinary being. It's ordinary or not ordinary being because
Because they have,
Because of the previous
Arya,
week.
yeah, they are Arya.
because they are Arya beings. They are Arya beings.
Yeah, some of them may be.
They are Arya beings, right? Are they Arya beings? They are Arya beings, right? Huh?
They can be.
No, I mean bodhisattva, bodhisattva on the path of accumulation who have gone through who have completed the path of either healers or social realizers. Is Arya being? Are you sure?
It's an Arya being of whatever path they complete.
Yeah, so it's Arya being.
The word Arya just means nobility.
But what Arya being is it?
Of the
What kind
other
of Arya being?
Of the other two parts. Of one of the other two
See,
parts.
that's the mistake. 거랑기스나다 냥도 파버렸어.
니네 봐봐 이거 니들 아주 그거. 대신
So if it is Arya being, if it is the let's say the healer Arya being, right? So he went through the healer path, he completed the healer path, and then he entered into the Mahayana path, and so he's Arya being, right? And then what kind of Arya being you said? He's the previous path, so that's the healer's Arya being.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So if he's a healer Arya being, then he has to be on the healer's path. He's not on the hero's path.
Good job. It is changing.
So fine.
So he's
Okay.
not a hero's
So
Arya
it's
being,
still,
right?
it's still an ordinary being on that particular.
No, it's Arya being.
He's not an ordinary being.
Generally he's Arya being. He's not a Mahayana Arya being, but he's Arya being.
Right. So then say Mahayana Arya being
그
next
파워에
time.
있는 가르쳐.
다음 봐봐야 난 바람 더 많이 와서 또 봐봐야 봤어. 바람 더 많이 와서. 근데 그냥 저거는 뭐 맞아.
So, because he has a Mahayana Arya being's path, right? Arya path. He had Arya path in his mind, in his continuum. He had, right? But on the Mahayana Hinayana path, he was when he was in Hinayana path, he had the Arya or the spiritual path in his continuum, and that never degenerated, right? And while having that, he entered into the Mahayana path. So he still has it. Right? So he had it, and it was never degenerated. So therefore, he is Arya being. He's Arya being, but he's not a hero's Arya being.
Yeah, okay.
If he's a hero Arya being, he has to be in a hero's path.
Okay, fine. Got it.
You got it?
Got it.
All you got it?
Right.
It's a little complicated that everybody got it, right? But over possibility, that you should not. Maybe when you go to Sarah, there are little details. The one that's just here.
There's a detail about detailed explanation about that.
What is effortless bodhicitta? That means we never have a non-compassionate thought towards other sentient beings?
What effortless?
What is effortless bodhicitta?
Effortless.
Does that mean 100% always compassion towards other sentient beings? Never a non-compassionate thought?
make it
딱 깔리지 않고, 망설이니까.
Yeah, you never have to really. You don't have to work hard. It's there all the time.
It's 100%. You never slip back into ever not having that.
No, it means like you don't have to like concentrate or you don't have to work hard. You don't have to pay attention to have that in your mind. It just comes by itself.
But for someone who has the effortless bodhicitta, that means 100% they never not have that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's total.
Yeah. 또 잠시만 또 따버리시 외워버렸어.
딱 외워야 돼.
Yeah. Means there all the time.
When for example, you always think, you're grandson, grandson,
Yeah.
you don't need to always what's effort to think about this. Always there. Same thing, 아직까지 뭐 가지 않고, 뒤에까지 않고 망할래 되고.
So you don't have to work. You don't have to make any effort. It just comes by itself.
Same thing. 어디지? 다쳤는데 이때 하고 어디 가만 누웠어. 같이 자세 소식이 많이 세 가지고 누웠어.
So you understand that now, right?
Yes.
So are the ordinary bodhisattva, but not ordinary being, right?
좋아. 다들 봐봐래 왔어.
Because it's not ordinary being because it's Arya being, a spirit being.
좋아. 다 더워지면 없이 가다래 왔어.
and it's the Mahayana path, right? The person is Arya being and the person is in the Mahayana path, right?
No, second, I have one question, okay? Kada teach about what
So you are Arya being, you're in the Mahayana path. Are you a Mahayana Arya being?
Not necessarily.
That's a personal question. That's very personal.
You have to go through the
Yeah.
other path,
So you
the
try
path
to
of no more learning.
Maris.
Good. Why?
What did she say? I didn't hear.
Oh, you have to go through the path of no more learning, like go through the path of sin, path of meditation, path of no more learning.
Not for the Arya. For the Arya, to be Arya, your spirit being, you have to reach the Mahayana path of seeing.
Oh,
Right? To be Mahayana Arya being, you have to reach Mahayana path of seeing.
That's not ordinary.
So the Arya the Bodhisattva on the path of accumulation, who is the Arya being, is not a Mahayana Arya being because
Is not
have not reached
the
the
scene.
reached the path of seeing. Yeah, Mahayana path of seeing.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Mahayana path of seeing.
Yes.
Specific.
Technical.
Tactic.
What are they? Okay, now you got, yeah, you guys smart. But again, then you are used to. Other words, first, what talk about? It's not very good now. 다 상승 소망 얘기. 다 솔직히 얘기해요. 다 보고 많이 솔직히 얘기해요. 저도 얘기지.
So is there a Bodhisattva, ordinary Bodhisattva, who is not Arya being, but just an ordinary being? Who is an ordinary being? Is there?
Yes.
Yes.
Which one? What kind? Example.
What?
Direct guy.
Yeah.
Right guy.
Direct guy.
Okay. You got good.
The guy who's coming directly to Mahayana class. Not the guy who found other class. The fellow who landed into this class just now. That's the guy.
You understood?
You got it?
You know, right, the right guy?
Direct guy.
Yeah.
Could we trust that since we practice Mahayana Buddhism and that our goal is the Mahayana path, that when we eventually reach a path, we will directly go there? Or could our bodhicitta still be so wavering that even us who practice or try to practice Mahayana Buddhism end up going through one of the other paths first? Or would we trust that we're going to be a direct guide?
That's easy.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible to go into different. 나 시기를 했어. 나 일단 나 라마 쉬어 말아. 태과 정부에서 최연량에 제가 지고 와라. 태과 정부 라마 쉬어 말아. 제마다 라마 쉬는 인지 문제다. 태과 정부 라마 쉬려 그러기 년도 라마 쉬어 시기를 했어.
니들아 쉬 미스가 말이야. 양한테 대면 게임신이라고 생각이 잘하잖아.
So even though you try to practice bodhicitta now, but like you said, our bodhicitta is not effortless or not spontaneous. So you still have to make a lot of effort to have that, and we are not 100% accustomed with that. So at the time when we have a strong renunciation, to enter into the path, and at that time, if our bodhicitta is strong, and if we keep on thinking like right now we're thinking, then it's most likely we will be entering the Mahayana path. But then at that time, you may meet with a different condition, like may meet with the Hinayana spiritual master, and we might guide you through the Hinayana path, and so Hinayana path is better. I think you should go into that. So you might change your mind. It's possible.
Thank you.
So generally, we're supposed to be one who enters directly into the Mahayana path, but who knows? It may change.
Sometimes we meet Buddhism, we have very strong effort. We study very hard, try to meditation. One time give up, too much wisdom then, another Kambu, Kamamara, Karachu, Dhamma, Shule, and how much is
You understood what Geshe said, right?
간접하셨다 나도 삼성도 담보 나도 줄라지 담아라고 쉬울래 나와 가지 로 가지 아니 어서로 얘기 아니 유셔고
So let alone the Mahayana path, even in Buddhism, Like we may have some very strong interest in Buddhism at the beginning. We heard about Buddhism, we hear one or two lectures, and we get so excited about that Buddhism, and then we enter it and we say, okay, I'm a Buddhist, and you like sort of practice very hard and do all the practices you can do it, and after some time then you find it's not really worth it, or sometimes it's just it doesn't too difficult, or doesn't help me, and so and then you give it up. Even that can happen.
Then they just give up. Then you go. They da gaje maje. Da shasan chong chungman jing ching da shasan chong no sum da shasan.
So anyway, so the ordinary bodhisattva, there's the bodhisattva path of accumulation and bodhisattva path of preparation, right? And then bodhisattva path of accumulation has small, middling, and great. And so all the knowledge, all the subsequent or the following knowledges or realization of the bodhisattva comes from that. That's called that bodhicitta. It's called like a bodhicitta, like a ground. So then the middling bodhisattva, bodhicitta, is the bodhicitta that you achieve after a few days, few months, or few years of practicing bodhicitta, and so that bodhicitta is called bodhicitta like gold. So like I said before, the gold is nature, is entity, its nature doesn't change at all. No matter what you do with it, it always remains, the gold remains gold. So just like that bodhicitta never degenerates. So that always stays bodhicitta. And so then the bodhicitta, the great path of accumulation is like a waxing moon. It's like waxing on the moon, of the first or second or third day, when it is increasing in size. So the waxing moon, like from the first from third, it becomes bigger and bigger until it becomes full. So just like that, once you have achieved the great path of accumulation, your knowledge always increases higher and higher, becomes bigger and bigger. And so there are many different types of bodhicitta like that in terms of the example of illustrations. So there are all these bodhicittas gradually becoming higher and higher level. So generally when we talk about bodhicitta, there are two types of the engaging and the wishing and engaging bodhicitta. So we know those, right? Bodhicittas, the wishing and engaging bodhicitta. So you can say the bodhicitta within the continuum of bodhisattva who is on meditative equipoise, is a wishing bodhicitta, and bodhicitta within the continuum of bodhisattva on a post-meditative equipoise is like the engaging bodhicitta. So the whether it's a wishing bodhicitta or engaging bodhicitta depends on whether that bodhicitta is conjoined with the bodhisattva activities or not. So those activities are the activities of generosity, morality, patience, effort, and so forth. And so the Bodhisattva on a meditative equipoise, because his bodhicitta is not conjoined with the practice of giving, observing the morality, practicing patience and so forth. Therefore, that bodhicitta is not engaging bodhicitta. So the Bodhisattva on post-meditative equipoise is the Bodhisattva who is not in a meditative equipoise, not meditating on that. So at that time, then Bodhisattva engages in the practice of generosity, and practicing generosity, observing morality, practicing patience, and so forth. So that's called bodhicitta. That bodhicitta is conjoined with the Bodhisattva activity, therefore it's called engaging bodhicitta. So the difference, for example, is like wishing to go and going. So like somebody who says, I want to go to New York, and then that later person actually goes, is on the road to the New York. So that's the difference.
Also, the difference. Some go to movie, maybe dancing. When they go home, they say, oh, I have to go today, maybe dancing. Maybe. And then done. We talk about she dance, talk, and you must say yes.
So when you are back at home, thinking of going to dance, that's like wishing bodhicitta. And then when you're actually going or on the floor, dancing floor and dancing, at that time it's engaging bodhicitta.
Do you guys go to dance? Oh, it's okay.
We've done that, right?
You guys really done. Don't want to
So you have preceded that realization already.
Too old to rock and roll.
Okay, target desha. And then finally, the time to Shaman goes into this work.
So we'll stop here for today, and the next time we'll start from the other direction.
The Shanti was sent down the Mongol, and so it's
so there are many different types of bodhicitta, and if you study, if you read the 70 topics, you'll find that a lot. And if you have any question, then we can discuss that.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? I think we did all questions. Okay.
Earlier in the class, you said, and I'm probably wrong now because my memory fails me, but you said something about sentient being and something about enlightened being. And you say Buddha is not sentient being, Buddha is like enlightened being. Okay? Now I recall some time ago when Geshe Ngawang said in class, he asked a question, he said, look, is Buddha like you? Is Buddha a human being? So some people said no, and some people said yes, and he said Buddha is a human being. The answer was Buddha is a human being. Okay? So now, why this differentiation at this stage? Like in my mind, I look at Gautama Buddha, and I look at him as a human being. I look at him as both a sentient being and an enlightened being at the same time. There is no differentiation, but there seems to be a differentiation here. Why?
And he said he was an Indian guy, right? Gautama Buddha was an Indian guy.
Where else could he be from?
From Nepal.
Or maybe it's a Nepalese guy.
Yeah, Nepal is Buddha, Nepal.
Technicality.
나가서 semjeda 상계 거샤라. semjeda 장주 세미나 장주 세바. 아니 상계 비가 장주 세미나 장주 상계 봐봤어. 상계 샤라. 그래 나가서 내가 나가서 전주생배 사다 상계 사스
아, 그래.
전주생배 사다 상계 사스 사다는 데는 선제이라 전주생배는 전주생바 상계 들었으면 전주생배는 아니 전주생바 말했어 저 상계랬어 상계 봐 말했어
자, 사실 들었다 사실 좀 열어. 나 성취 말했어.
상계
생각 말했어. 사실 생각하다 성취 먹었어.
상계 전주생바는 상계라
아무 사실 사실 성취 말한다.
상계라 잡아라
사실
전주생배는 상계라 잡아라
사실
다이나 프랑스나 더 그런 지역들 더 미마들의 개수급이 드레스 상계들 드레스 상계 semje 말했을 거 되나 상계들 되는 미래스 있어. 코랑에 나올라 샤수들 되는 상계 샤리도 버리 미래스 있어. 내가 간데
사실 미때
미나 semje 뭐 말했어.
자태는 미면 사실 성취 먹었어요. 나 사실 미때나 사실 말했어.
미 넘버 되는 미 말했어.
미 넘버 된 사실 다 뭔가 말았어.
So, I mean, again, it depends, right? So you can say Buddha is, it depends, like if we say human being is sentient being, if we say human being is necessary to be sentient being, then Buddha cannot be human being because then Buddha will have to be sentient being, right? And definitely Buddha is not sentient being, therefore Buddha cannot be human being. But Buddha can appear in the aspect of human being. So Buddha Shakyamuni was already Buddha. In one hand, he was already Buddha. He just, appeared as a human being. He all performed these deeds, of getting enlightenment. So, but he was already enlightened. Right? So he just emanated himself as a human being, to help the human beings, like that. And so, therefore, he is not really a human being. He just emanated as human being.
얘나 내 자신은 아무도 지지를 따라서 아무도 자원 것이 다오데 바바 세례에서 그게 막아도 관계가 딱이 없어요. 딱 가지고 마셔 캐는 거 보고. 배웠어.
So
잠깐만 나한테 슈다고 해라.
So there are, the most Tibetans, Tibetans conceive His Holiness Dalai Lama as Avalokiteshvara. He is an actual Avalokiteshvara coming in a human form. I mean, not all the Tibetans, but there are some Muslim Tibetans also. So they don't see His Holiness as Avalokiteshvara. But most of the Tibetans, they see His Holiness as Avalokiteshvara. But His Holiness is a human being, right? When we look at him, we say he is a human being. He came in the human form, so he's a human being. We will say that. So the reason why he came in that form of Dalai Lama is so that he can interact with us. If Avalokiteshvara came in his actual form of a white collar body with one face and 4 arms, we will never see him. We don't have that karma or the merit to see him. And so he appears in a form for which we have enough merit to see. And then people might say, again, if His Holiness Dalai Lama is a Buddha, Buddha compassion of the Shara, and then how come he's facing so many difficulties, problems, and sickness, problems, and so forth. And so he's facing all these problems, right? Old age, the sickness, all sorts of problems, and so forth. So, and then again, of course, the answer is that because he appeared as a human being, he has to go through all these things like a human being. If he doesn't do that, then we will not be able to see him again.
So, is a sentient, when you say sentient beings, right? Like my understanding of a sentient being, and this is where I may be wrong, and this is where my doubts are coming from. My understanding of a sentient being was anybody with mind, anything with the mind, right? But it seems like the way you say, is like anybody who's in samsara, in samsaric life.
Not necessary, but the Senchen being, Senchen, no? From the same time, Jebala Senchen. There are some Koran. They know Koran, that's it, you know? But the Senchen, that's the call of Cambridge.
되고 말았어. 다 너무 빠 마법에 가더라 sem체에서. 빠를 가더라.
Senchen,
sem거가 있고 사제라 sem체. 사제 너무 빠에 가더라 사제. 마법에 가더라 sem체에서.
So, if you are if you have a mind, you know, then you are a sentient being. But sentient being has a mind. Let's say this way: sentient being necessarily has a mind, but if you have a mind, it's not necessary to be a sentient being. Anyway, so sentient being who are not enlightened. This way, sentient beings, beings with a mind who are not enlightened is a sentient being, and beings with a mind who are enlightened is a Buddha. Right? So that's the difference. They both are same having mind, right? But one is enlightened and one is not enlightened. So enlightened, as you know, enlightened means like who have gained all the realizations and all the knowledges and have abandoned all the obstructions.
So then one should say an enlightened sentient being is a Buddha. One should not say then because it's very confusing.
No. That's why in general when we say sentient being, it's a being who's not enlightened.
Who's not enlightened.
Yes, that's what it means.
That's the
being,
common translation.
Yeah. The sentient being is a being who's not enlightened. And if you're enlightened, you're no longer a sentient being. You're a Buddha.
사제가 사제
Buddha is a Sanskrit word. Is that okay?
What today you going to do?
사제가 사세 제세 니도 와서 사세디 아니 너무 걸려 상황 제세디 시야로 이제 봤어. 다 들어봐 샘 들어봐래 상황 아니 시야로 이제 맛이 봐 물이 봐. 딱 그냥 내가 저거.
So I mean, in Tibetan we call sangye, which is of two words, right? Sang and ge. Sang means have cleared, which means you have cleared or cleansed all the obstructions, not just any kind of obstructions, all kind of obstructions, obscurations. And ge means like who have obtained all the knowledges there to be obtained. So it means like he knows everything there is to be known. So someone who has that is called Buddha. It's called Sangye.
맨날 상처에서 막 사체와 왔다 갔다 다시 시야를 누리 집어도 다시 상계다 안냐 말이야 이나야 다 상세 줘야 말이야 다 좋아 공부도 알았어
저기 엄마 남편
남자 다 무슨 또 말이야
남편 엄마 남편 챙겨 말아
뭐 단체도 단체 무슨 제
디바 보면 남편 챙겨 말아 남편 차 말아
남자 차 말이야
남편 차 남편 챙겨 상이 때는 심지어 되지 않아서 그렇지 봐.
아또 냠새 버스 매지 해야 돼.
아니야 그래.
저한테 답사서 해로.
아 수수가 저는 그냥 뜻으로 여기.
네.
알아보래 저한테 그래.
사죠 와.
사죠 알아요.
근데 그 시절을 이렇게 봐도 현재
나좀 벌었어.
근데 샤사 사죠 왔다 시절을 이렇게 봐도 다 당연히도 말다. 다 훨씬 더더욱 사게 되게 되나. 다 상세 처음에
맞아. So Chansara Sajode. So Bodhisattva on the 10th Bhumi, 10th Bhumi, who is at the last stage, right? Just before he or she becomes Buddha. So have all the knowledges almost equal to the Buddha, but hasn't cleansed all the delusions. So there's still some subtle obstructions need to be cleansed. So they're not exactly like the Buddha, but very close to Buddha. So the difference is that he has not abandoned all the delusions, all the obstructions.
So both sang weak and gay then.
Gay then.
Okay, anyway. Thank you. Now it's stop.
Thank you, Geshe.